As we all know, there's a huge competition when selling on Amazon. Having all of the data and analyzing competition definitely is a huge advantage. Today, I will show you how to automate gathering reviews from Amazon from your favorite ASINs. We'll build our script using Python. So let's jump to the screen right now. Here right now we are at the screen, and I already opened the Amazon page and our terminal. First of all, I want to show you the website that we'll be gathering the data from. So this is actually the ASIN from the Red Bull. Here you can gather the ASIN itself from each product. This is like a short tip basically for all of you who are selling on Amazon. And as you see, when you scroll down, there's a section for reviews here. Definitely helps when you are researching the competition to have all of your reviews in one place. There's a trick. So basically when you click see all reviews, we are getting on a special link and you can see all of the reviews here. There's a lot of them, as you see. So normally you have to go on every single page, copy and paste them to Excel file, and we'll automate this process. Now we see where the reviews comes from. Let's build the code which will gather them to a nice JSON file. Alright, so let's start by installing the library that we'll be using today, which is called request.html. If you go here, you will see on the documentation page what is it for. Basically, we'll use the session, which is a much better version for web scraping rather than doing requests every time, because it holds the actual session, so it's most likely that our scraper won't be banned that fast. Alright, our library is already installed, so let's activate it. Let's create the script .py and let's open the code in our favorite editor. In my case, it's Pycharm. First of all, let's activate the environment in Pycharm. Let's run our script as a test. And as you see, it works, so our environment is also activated in Pycharm. Now let's plan our workflow. So how the script will work. We definitely need to figure out the way of gathering the ASIN as a parameter to the function. Once it's there, we want to scroll through all of the pages of the reviews, or at least another argument which will clarify what's the maximum of the pages, because sometimes obviously there will be too many of them and we don't need all of them. Like for example, here there's 1,000 reviews. That's actually too much that we need. For us it would be, I don't know, the maximum of 3 pages, which is around 30 reviews. So once we get on the actual page with the reviews, we want to scrape them and want to go to the next page. However, if we specify the argument, which will be our max page, we want to somehow stop the function. Or if our argument is 10, but there's only 5 reviews, we also don't want to make unnecessary requests, and then we have to create a function which will check if there are still reviews on the page. So this is basically what we'll be doing together, and obviously once we get the reviews, we need to parse them, add to our global list, and once we have our global list, we have to create a nice JSON file out of it. So let's do it right now. Alright, first of all, let's import the libraries that we'll be using today. Now let's create the main class, which will hold all of the functions necessary to scrape the data. Alright, so first of all, I declared some initial arguments. One of them is called headers. So those are the headers that we do in your request with, basically asking for data. So normally when we are on Amazon and we are doing the request for data, wait, let me show you here. In the network tab, when we ask for content, like for example here, we have the request headers, and those are the headers that our browser is doing to the actual server. And when we are doing the request with Python, we also need to kind of fake those headers in order not to be recognized as a bot. Amazon has very nice bot detection when it comes to web scraping, so you really need to make your best in order to scrape the data. Also here I wanted to point out that when you scrape Amazon on a large scale, it's super easy to get banned. And if you don't want to encounter any problems with scraping, such as being blocked by Amazon or timeouts, you may want to use high quality proxies. And this is why today's video sponsor is IProyal. IProyal is a proxy service provider with a single goal, providing safe, private and unrestricted access to online data on different websites for companies and individuals online. Their services help with many things, such as adding an extra layer of privacy to companies or individuals at home. So you'll always be safe searching through browser, and you don't have to worry about any privacy issues or tracking by other companies. You can also access geo-restricted content such as Netflix. So for example, if you want to watch a newest season of Rick and Morty or Wolf of the Wall Street, you just need to change your location, and this way you can bypass the restriction on a specific region. Many websites also have different prices for different regions. You can also use this to bypass this. You can also avoid any censorship and share information freely. For scraping purposes, they have one of the best residential proxies, which will guarantee that you will never get blocked because they are powered by the real users, ensuring that you'll never will be blocked or detected. You also pay as you go, so you don't have any extra monthly recurring costs when using those proxies. And of course, you can use multiple locations around the world. One of the best features of residential proxies is auto rotation. Proxies will automatically rotate for you, so you don't have to worry about this logic. IProyal also have static residential proxies, which are mostly used in the online banking area, shopping and streaming media. They offer you very high speed streaming, so you don't have to worry that you have to watch your favorite movie or series in a very low quality. They are also almost 100% uptime, so you'll never lose your connection. I have partnered with IProyal to bring you a special deal today. Use my coupon code down below to get a 50% discount on the Royal Residential Proxies. The deal won't last long, so make sure to check it out. Again, check out the link below, use my code Jakob50 to have a 50% discount on the Royal Residential Proxies. Now let's get back to the video. This argument is basically ASIN, then we have the amount of the pages, obviously this is our max function, and then the URL for the ASIN. So basically I figured that when you have the URL, you can delete the actual name of the product and just put the product review, ASIN, some other arguments and the page number, for example 1 or 2 and so on. Now let me also show you what will happen if we go to the product which doesn't have that many reviews. Let's pick the PlayStation 4. Alright, as you see here, this ASIN has only 55 reviews. This means that there's only some of those pages. Let's say we go to number 5 and now we want to go to number 100. As you see, there are no reviews. There's only this top positive review and top critical review, which they are on every single page, but there are no reviews here. Let's go back to number 3 to show you the difference. As you see, there are still reviews here. So it means that if we don't find the element, which is basically represented by the review, we no longer need to scrape and we can break our main loop. Now let's create the main logic. Alright, so we have our main function, which is basically called iterate over pages, and there we have a list of the reviews and we are going to iterate through all of the pages. However, obviously we'll have the condition which checks if there are still the reviews on the page. First of all, I want to show you how nicely it's done to gather the HTML content. So we have our breakpoint here. Pycharm has a very nice debugger. I really recommend you using it. And you can simply click here, debug the script. And now what will happen is a script will actually run it, as you see here, going to the scraper. It will go to iterate over pages function. And as you see here, it has already allocated some memory and it already shows us some of the responses. So here we have already the response. We can actually see the whole response from there, which is crazy. We can see the cookies, we can see the content, we can go here, and now here we can see the variable I1 at the moment, and if we iterate, obviously it will be number 2. So for example, we have different options here. We can do step over, we can go step into my code, and so on. Those are all basically the stages that we can run the function. So for example, run the next iteration. However, we are not going to focus on that in this video that much. What matters is we will basically check our variable, which is the R. As we see, it's a response 200, which means everything went nice. And we can do r.html. Basically, this is the response. And what we can do is we can display the dictionary of this variable. Everything in Python is the object, so displaying the dictionary, which this will display as all of the fields and their keys. Keys and the values of them. So we have the element, we have the URL, skip anchors, and basically the whole HTML content. Now, what do we want to achieve here? So we want to see how to get the reviews. So again, we are on the, I believe, page number 1. So we can go here. And now we want to see how we can extract the actual values. So if we open our developer tools, all right, so we see already that basically those divs, they are quite similar. They have the ID of the actual div and they have attribute called data hook review. And we can basically very simple get this element by this attribute name. So let's try it right now. And as you see, we get multiple of them. So now let's just get the first one. This is our element. And let's try to get some of the keys or just text. So as you see, we already got the text. There are stars. There's a name of the actual user, the actual comment, the date. So we got pretty much everything. Now we just need to parse it in a proper way. So for example, let's jump a little bit into those reviews. Let's hover over the username. So for example here, this is a span with the class name AProyal name. So if we go back to it, we can continue our search with the find method by span class name of AProyal name. If we do it like this, we have to do first element, we got it, and now just gathering the text, we have the actual name of the user. Now we can play around with our parameters. As you see here, we got Andre Dias. We can go to the second one, the third one, Ronald Schaffer. So this is how simple it is to actually play around with the Pycharm debugger and scraping the elements on the go without doing additional requests. This is the beautiful thing about the Pycharm's debugger, that actually once we make our breakpoint and we have the HTML code, we can really play around without worrying that we'll be somehow banned by Amazon by doing too many requests when you do trial and error with your code. All right, so we have a name. Now let's see what else can we retrieve from it. We can maybe get the title. We have to change it just to A, and then it's not a class, it's a data hook. It's called review title. So we have a title of our review. Again, we can change the number. This one is actually bad controller. This one is so good. We can really play around it. So now we have an actual user, we have a title. Let's get the date. So date is actually data hook, so it's span. It's also a data hook, review date. All right, we got a date. All right, now let's get to the message. Also star rating, I forgot about that. Star rating is Y, data hook, review star rating. Also we get this one. It works on multiple things. And then let's get to the actual content, the message of the of this. It seems like it's a data review body. It's a span. It's a data hook review body. So as you see here, it works pretty nice. This one also works pretty nice. We get some new line signs. We can also get rid of them by just simply doing replace. Yeah, perfect. So this also works. So now let's get to code and implement the rest of our logic. Also, I just realized that I have a camera here, so you might not saw all of the names of those fields. However, don't worry, we'll put them in a code in a second. So let's continue here. So first of all, we have to check the logic, and we have to create it in the way that if there are no reviews, we just skip and we don't iterate on further pages. So we'll simply check, we'll create a function has reviews and simply check if this attribute is on the page. If it's there, we're going to scrape it. If it's not there, we're going to return false and break our loop. Now let's get and parse the data. Alright, so this is our function. So basically we iterate over all of the reviews, and for each review we're going to first find it and parse it and add it to our reviews list. So those tags we went through all of them in our I think it's a little bit above. We went through all of them in our yeah, it was in the debugger, so we cannot see it here. But we went through all of them in our debugger. Also, in order to writing something like this, we can just use the flag first equal true. So we have the user, we have title, star rating, date, message. We open it here, we return it. Now going back to our main function, let's gather them here as well. Alright, so we have all of our reviews from this function. We're going to, of course, add it to our main list, return it. Now going back, can print done. So we can print our reviews here and use also pprint to format them nicely. So as you see here, we got our list of those reviews nicely formatted in a terminal. Now let's save it to the file. We can simply dump it to the all reviews, we can simply dump it to the file. Let's call it results.json. Let's run it again. And we are not banned because of our headers. So let's go to our file, let's format it. And as you see here, we just downloaded all of the reviews. And as you see here, we just downloaded the reviews from the ASIN that we are searching for. And obviously, if you want, we can just change it. We can pump it up. So our script worked as well for 4 pages. And of course, if for some reason there won't be some tags because Amazon sometimes doing those changes, there might be, for example, no title, no star rating. We may also do something like a try and accept and just put it as a blank name, blank string in order to continue the script, not to crash it. Alright guys, so that was it for this video. I hope you can now gather all of the reviews for your favorite ASINs or your competition ASINs and basically do some analytics on your data. And if you are struggling with it or if it worked for you, just let me know in the comments. I will definitely check it there. And yeah, thanks for watching guys and see you next time.